In the sterile glow of Geneva Medical Station, everything was routine. Machines whispered, scanners hummed, and the galaxy's most advanced technology promised certainty. But certainty shattered the moment one drop of blood hit the scanner. The machine didn't just fail. It screamed, convulsed, and detonated in a blaze of impossible colors. Its final words echoed like a verdict from the universe itself. Species not found in database. What kind of blood could make the galaxy's smartest machine self-destruct? If that opening made your heart race, you're in the right place. We've got a story where science, humanity, and the impossible collide. So before we dive deeper into the mystery, take a second to like this video, subscribe, and share it with anyone who loves a good humans are special kind of tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. I and the polished veins of Geneva Medical Station. Silence never truly existed. The air carried a hum, the quiet, confident breath of alien engineering. To most, it was reassuring. It meant the machines were in control, the galaxy was mapped, and every unknown had its proper file in the database. But to Dr. Adam Chen, that hum was background noise. What mattered today was a girl waiting in the emergency bay. He walked briskly beside his colleague, Dr. Mahin Vasquez. Both carried the weary rhythm of professionals who had seen too many broken survivors come through these doors. This case, however, felt different. She's a third this week, Mahin muttered, her voice tight. Another survivor from the colony ships. Adam nodded, though something about this one unsettled him. And yet the files don't match. Her vitals don't match. Nothing matches. When they entered the bay, the young woman lay still in the diagnostic cradle, unconscious but oddly serene. Her vital signs appeared steady, yet a strange dissonance clung to her presence, as if her body wasn't entirely anchored to this dimension. Adam, a man grounded in data, resisted the chill that ran down his spine. "Let's start simple," he said, hiding unease behind a calm professional tone. "Blood work, sequencing, species confirmation." The Galactic Medical Scanner, the pride of the consortium, was wheeled to her side. This machine was no ordinary hospital tool. It held the mapped blueprints of 47,000 known sentient species. In theory, there was nothing it couldn't identify. Adam pricked her finger. A single drop of blood slid into the scanner's crystalline heart. The machine glowed with a tranquil sapphire light, like it always did at the start. For a moment, everything felt routine. Then the hum changed. The scanner's glow flickered, then twisted into colors Adam's eyes refused to name. The sapphire calm fractured into violent hues that had no place in the spectrum, shades that seemed to scrape against the inside of his skull. The hum became a scream. Metal groaned, sparks erupted, and the crystalline core pulsed like a dying star. The Galactic Medical Scanner, the pinnacle of interspecies medicine, was tearing itself apart. Adam's instincts took over. He grabbed Mahin and shoved her down, his body shielding her as a console detonated in a burst of fire and shards. Superheated matter scattered across the bay, alarms shrieked, and emergency systems roared to life. And then silence, broken only by the echo of a synthetic voice. "Species not found in database." The words rang out like a cosmic verdict. Then the machine collapsed, nothing more than smoldering ruins. Adam slowly pulled himself up, his chest still heaving. Mahin's eyes were wide with disbelief. "What in God's name was that?" she whispered. He didn't answer, because in that moment, the girl opened her eyes. They were not human eyes. There was depth in them, layers of perception stacked like folded time. It was as though she looked through the room, through him, past the physical world entirely. Her voice came soft, almost apologetic, but it carried a resonance that made the very air tremble. "I had hoped the synthesis would be more stable," she said. Adam froze. "Synthesis." His voice cracked with confusion. She rose from the cradle with a motion too fluid, too perfect, as though gravity itself obeyed her. "My name is Elena. I was born human. That was a long time ago." Even the auxiliary scanner's Mahin scrambled to activate sputtered and failed the moment they touched her presence. No machine could quantify her. And Adam felt, with chilling clarity, that this was no ordinary survivor. The emergency bay was no longer a hospital room. It felt like the eye of a storm. Sparks fizzled from the ruined scanner, alarms pulsed in the distance, and yet Elena stood at the center of it all, calm, unshaken, impossibly present. Dr. Adam Chen and Dr. Mahin Vasquez could only stare. Their entire careers had been built on systems, on databases, on the certainty that every species could be catalogued, every anomaly filed. But here was something the database had no language for. Elena's gaze softened. She spoke not as a patient, but as a historian unearthing a lost chapter. 3 centuries ago, my vessel drifted beyond the charted stars. Out there, we found something, not a race, not even what you'd call an alien. It was a mind woven into the fabric between realities. Mahin's lips trembled. A god! Elena tilted her head, as though considering the word. Not a god, but ancient. Watching. Waiting. It gave us a choice, evolve or perish. Adam shook his head, fighting to cling to logic. That's not how evolution works. You can't just rewrite biology. A faint smile curved Elena's lips. Her eyes shimmered like nebulae folding in on themselves. Humanity was always the exception. Doctor. Every other species followed a script. They discovered fire, then physics, then stars. They fit into neat boxes. But humans? Chaos wrapped in fragile flesh. The being saw that, and it opened a door no one else had ever been offered. Security teams rushed into view behind the sealed bay doors. Yet when they tried to force the locks, the doors simply refused to respond. Not broken, just unwilling. Elena hadn't touched a thing. The room vibrated with a quiet, invisible rhythm. Lights flickered in sync with Elena's heartbeat, as if the station itself was listening. Adam could feel it, not in his ears, but in his bones. Elena stepped forward. Machines all around her sputtered, panels cracked with static, and security weapons powered down against the soldier's will. It was as though the very laws of the galaxy were bending, choosing sides. The being we met, Elena said, her voice carrying a chorus of undertones, watched civilizations rise and fall like tides. But never once had it seen anything like humanity. Never once had it found a species that refused to accept limitations. Mahin's voice broke. You're talking about transcendence, aren't you? Elena nodded. Beyond biology, beyond physics. We are not refugees of the colony ships. We are the proof of what humanity becomes when it is finally uncaged. Adam's mind reeled. The ruin scan at his feet now made sense. The machine was designed to measure the finite, Elena explained, reading his thoughts. It could not process infinity. It tried to define the impossible, and it broke. The doors rattled as security pounded against them, but still they would not yield. Not locked. Simply unwilling to obey in her presence. Then, from the far wards of the station, other survivors stirred. Monitors flatlined, systems failed, and lights dimmed as though power itself bent toward the awakening humans. Each of them carried the same hum Elena did. Each of them resonated with something far beyond their flesh. The galaxy thought it had saved refugees. What it had actually done was invite a storm into its heart. Elena stood taller, and for a heartbeat, the room itself seemed to curve around her presence. We are not here to conquer, she said gently. We are here to extend the same offer we received. Adam's chest tightened. Offer? Evolution, she replied, her voice layering into 1,000 echoes. Or extinction. The choice is always yours. The words fell heavy, but not like a threat, more like a simple truth. Adam's pulse thundered. And if we refuse? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Elena's smile was sorrowful, almost tender. Then humanity will continue its journey alone. But the invitation remains open to any soul brave enough to step outside the database. A sudden tremor shook the station. It wasn't mechanical, it was alive, resonating with the awakening humans across the wards. The lights pulsed in time with an unseen beat. A birth cry, not of a child, but of a species unbound. Mahin clutched Adam's arm. We're witnessing the start of something. Her voice faltered, unable to capture the scale. Not something, Adam murmured, staring at Elena with both awe and fear. Someone. Us. And in that instant, he understood. The explosion of the scanner hadn't been an accident or even an attack. It had been an announcement, a declaration to the galaxy that humanity no longer fit within its neatly drawn boxes. As alarms wailed and soldiers scrambled in panic, Adam and Mahin stood in the wreckage, the first witnesses to a terrifying, wondrous truth. Humanity was not lost. Humanity had been reborn.